everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And today we have a very special episode where we are giving some praise to some underrated, overlooked Hallmark movies. It's going to be super fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Anna's here.
Hey, everybody.
And Dory's here.
Hi, everyone.
Dory, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back. It's been a while, so it's nice to chat with you ladies again.
I know, too long. I think I just you've been guesting all over the place, and so maybe I feel like you've been on our show sooner than that.
Yeah, I've been, everywhere except my own podcast because we have not recorded since Christmas, basically.
Yeah. Good time to get out your DVRs and watch some underrated Hallmark movies. If they're not fitting the bill this year, I thought it would be fun to talk about some ones that people like, and you'll see them every now and then, but they don't get the praise of your like Very Merry Mix-Ups or your, I don't know, the 9 Lives of Christmas, or some of these ones that people love, Trading Christmas, the favorites. And so I thought this would be fun. We each have 6 on our list that we'll talk about. And so I think it'll be fun. And let us know, if you're listening, let us know your picks for underrated for Hallmark. And why don't you start your first on your list, Dory?
So my first pick is something I wasn't even going to talk about because I feel like I talk about it a lot and very few people agree with me. But luckily, one person on this podcast agrees with me right now. So I'm going to talk about Love Blossoms, which I think is supremely underrated, like criminally underrated. And I think that what is so fun about this movie is the main couple and their chemistry. I think that Victor Webster and Chantel Van Stanton obviously have great chemistry, and they're getting married, so and they met on this movie, so that's proof positive. And I know that a lot of people think this movie was boring. That's a lot of the feedback that I heard when it first came out. Yeah, that was a lot of the commentary, like, it's boring. But I didn't feel that way. I think mainly because I really like kind of beauty and skincare and whatever. So the fact that they're like doing a perfume formula was really fun. So I really love this movie. It is so perfectly a springtime movie. There are flowers everywhere. It takes place in Bruges. So, even if you don't like the plot, the movie is gorgeous. Where they shot it is gorgeous. The main couple is gorgeous. And it's just a fun, sweet movie. And I would encourage everyone, if they haven't watched it in a long time, to give it a second chance. I think it's great.
I'll have to give it a second chance because I do think it adds sort of a little bit of a layer to it. The fact that they met and really fell in love on the movie. That's fun.
Yeah. And they have a really great, there's like a proposal at the end that I freaking love because he doesn't even really ask her to marry him. He just kind of shows her the ring and she grabs him and kisses him and is like, yes. And I love that. I was like, oh, she's so obsessed with him. She couldn't even let him get the words out. I just think it's really sweet and really cute. What do you think, Anne? I know you like this one too.
Yeah, I really like it. I loved, and I'm very hit or miss on the on location movies. And this is one of the ones that I love. I love One Tree Hill, so I love Chantel. I like Victor Webster. I thought their chemistry is great. The movie's beautiful. And I don't know. I just thought it was magical. I didn't think it was boring either. I thought it was, something
Anne.
something different that Hallmark hasn't done before. And I loved their chemistry, and I just thought it was a real sweet movie.
Mm-hmm.
Agree. Everyone give it a second chance because it is delightful.
Yeah, there's a whole sort of classification or category of Hallmark movies.
Oh no, here she goes.
I call the scientific farmer movies, where it's like, oh, we've got to create the perfect wine or the perfect pear or the perfect
It really
poinsettia.
devastates me that you are equating this movie with the hybrid pear. Like that is like
or the
knife.
poinsettias.
Oh, the poinsettia movie.
This is like knife to my
and
heart,
the tulip,
Rachel.
The tulip movie.
Yeah, this is definitely the best of all those. Like, this is above all those,
without question.
Yeah. We gotta create the perfect tulip, and I'm just not invested. The second vineyard movie. Oh my gosh, all of that stress over the perfect wine, and I'm just like,
yeah.
And so but any trope can be done well, so I have to give it another shot. It's been a while since I saw it, but
yes, for us, give it another watch.
Yeah. And now you have talked to the writers, you like the writers.
That's true.
Give it another shot.
Okay, I will. All right. And what is your number 6?
My number 6 is Winter Love Story. I actually looked at my movies, and I kind of have a theme here that maybe the listeners will notice, and this is kind of the first one of that theme. I seem to like movies where one of the people is famous or semi-famous, because I think it just validates that I could fall in love with Chris Evans, and that's possible. So, this is one of those.
Keep dreaming.
Right, dreaming. A girl can dream.
Don't let go of your dreams.
But I really like this movie. I'm not like a huge Kevin McGarry fan or anything like a lot of ladies on this podcast, but I think that him and Jen Lilly in this movie have really good chemistry, and they're going on a book tour together, and I thought it was fun, and I remember liking the dog that was in it too. I felt like he had his own personality.
Oh, I love the dog.
And it was just a very cozy winter movie, and I just thought it was really cute, and I love sci-fi books, so I could relate to liking the kind of books that Kevin's character was writing as well, so that probably played into it. But I just think it's a real sweet winter movie.
Yeah, the dog Bungie, and
that's right,
Bungie. And Jen Lilly had a dog growing up named Bungie.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's cute.
I mean, aside from this having the most newsworthy title I could ever think of, Winter Love Story.
Yeah, it's bad.
Come on. Like, they had that year, I swear, there was like a summer romance, a Christmas love story, winter love story.
Yeah, it was a bland.
Those are
bland titles.
Yeah, those are the kind of titles you give when you're writing your draft, and you're just like, I got to give it something, right?
Yeah,
you don't give it for the final movie. Winter love story.
Very true.
But I can certainly forgive that, and I really like this one too. I think it's really fun.
It also has a great promo picture from what I recall. Like, the minute you said it, I could see the promo picture where they're like sitting on a couch, and a cozy couch in a cabin with the dog.
With the fire, yeah.
With the fire, exactly. It's like very wintry and cozy and cute. That's a great pick.
Yeah, and it has a good supporting cast. Mary Margaret Humes is in it. Laura Miotta, who I love, she's in it. And I mean, Jen Lilly is just so delightful.
Yeah, she is.
So
love it.
And I like Kevin McGarry. He was in so many movies that year.
Yeah, that was his big year of a lot of movies. That's
2019. Said he was the king of Christmas. He was in 5 Christmas movies that year.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He was making Christmas bank.
Yeah. And then wasn't in any last year. So that's a seesaw. But yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one. And I feel like it's not one of the ones that's talked about that much. So I think it's a good one for underrated. All right, my turn. So for my number 6, I have It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And
I
this,
love this pick.
yes, we were on the podcast together when reviewing this, if you remember, Dory.
I do. And we were both
Yeah.
like, this movie was great. Why isn't everyone talking about this movie? It was so good.
It was so good. And I think because it was at the end of the season,
Yep.
it was the last weekend of movies.
People
They
get
did not
tired
promote
out.
it very well. Yeah.
People are tired.
Christmas movie hangover.
And
Fatigue.
but this has Rick Garman's script, and he's great. And this has Trisha Helfer and Eric Mabius, and they are enemies, and the town is enemies. They're both mayors of this town that has its rivals, and literally they have like the line of the towns, like even through the restaurant. Like it's like half the restaurants in one town, and everything is, they have different food that they eat, everything is competitive,
Different
and
Christmas decorations.
Yes.
One has like the blue, one
Yeah.
has the red. It's
Yeah.
just so well done how
Yeah,
they
and-
build up that competition, that
and they
rivalry.
have like kind of, they have like a newsreel kind of at the beginning, like going the history of the rivalry, and
Mhm.
and it was really funny, and I absolutely loved their assistants, who are both like bird watching, quote unquote. And they were hilarious, and I loved Peter Benson in it as her ex, and the fact they still had a good relationship,
Mhm.
and that whole dynamic was really good. And I don't know, it was just really funny and charming. So I feel like it's one that's, even amongst the postables, I feel like it's not really talked about that much.
It's
Yeah, that's
so
true.
good. Like
Yeah.
it's just, oh my goodness. They have great chemistry, Trisha Helfer and Eric Mabius, and they really did a good job of like delivering the idea that they don't like each other, but it's not hate, like
Yeah.
I would never call it like enemies to lovers. They're just like knee deep in a rivalry, and they still really respect each other kind of grudgingly. And so like they always have a funny, every time they're together, it's like funny. It doesn't feel tense or weird. It's just kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and their assistants are like, this is so stupid. Like, why are we going through all of this? It's so good.
And the whole bird watching thing was so funny. Yeah.
I haven't watched it, so you guys are selling
Oh,
me.
you
I
haven't?
will watch it. No, I didn't get to watch it.
See, that's why it's underrated. Like, people haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
And it's really great, and I look forward to watching it every year. And they don't even play it as much as they should because it's just excellent. But it's delightful. It's just delightful.
I will look for it if we still get Christmas in July with all the craziness going on. I will look for it on that schedule and record it.
Well, and the title makes no sense. Why did they have this title? Why don't they have it be like The Christmas Feud or The Christmas Rivalry or something? Like,
Yeah,
it's
that would
beginning
have
to
been
look a
more
lot like
fun
Christmas.
of a
Especially
title.
if you're going to have it be one of the last movies of the season.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. What? Doesn't make any sense. But it was funny and charming, and I think that it was a lot better than Eric Mabius's film the previous year that he done. What was that one with? He was like stalking that woman. The whole town was trying to convince her to not.
The angel something with the angel.
That they were trying to convince the this woman to build the
Did she crash her car? Is that how
yeah,
it
and so
started?
but they're trying to convince her to build the ski resort or something like that. Welcome to
Crashes her car in the
Christmas.
sign. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
it.
Welcome to
That's
Yeah,
Christmas.
that was not
Okay.
good. That was
No.
not good. Yeah, they want to get the ski resort. It's like one of the rare movies where they want the ski
Yeah.
resort, and so like they're basically like it's one of those Hallmark or horror ones where like I don't think it's right what they're doing to this woman, but it's all in Christmas, so it's fine. But but anyway, but that's also Rick Garman, actually, that one. But yeah, so Dory, what is your next pick?
Okay, so my next pick is also a Christmas movie. It is Holiday Engagement with Bonnie Somerville. And Shelley Long is in this movie.
Yes.
Why aren't more people talking about this movie? Shelley Long plays a meddling, frazzled mother of an adult daughter who she really wants to get married. And it's the perfect role for her. She is so funny and eccentric. And the movie is basically about a woman who breaks up with her boyfriend or fiance. No, breaks up with her boyfriend who she was going to take home for the holidays. So she hires an actor to take his place because they broke up right before the holidays. And she, of course, falls in love with this actor. And her family is really funny. And everything, of course, goes wrong during this holiday adventure. And I believe the actor is Jewish, and so he doesn't like do Christmas perfectly. And it's just a fun Christmas movie. I love it so much. And I wish it's kind of an older Christmas movie.
I was gonna say, I just looked it up. Yeah.
It's older, but it is so cute. I love it. And I love Bonnie Somerville, and I wish she was in more Hallmark movies. She's in another of my favorite Christmas movies, Love You Like Christmas.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Which is great. But I love Holiday Engagement. Like, that's usually, watching that movie is like my start to the holiday season. I'm like, okay, it's time.
Yeah, that one's really fun. And I think that it's one of the best of the fake engagement Hallmark movies. It's pretty over the top, but it's enjoyable. And I think a lot of these underrated ones, at least for me, are ones that bring in a little bit more of that humor that you don't see as much, and in others that, I don't know, that I appreciate that aspect of these movies when they can be genuinely funny. And I think Holiday Engagement qualifies.
Oh, for sure. It's hilarious. And like everything goes wrong, right? Like she loses her job, I think, right before. And there are just so many issues. And it's just so entertaining besides just the main romance.
Mm-hmm. So you haven't seen that one, Anne?
I have not seen it. I just looked at the graphic. I'm like, oh, I know I've seen this graphic a million times. So I've seen the poster, I guess, a lot, but I haven't watched it. No, it sounds similar to Holiday.
Yeah, but not as raunchy. It's
I meant Brittany Bristow's movie. What was it?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
Holiday Date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah, I meant her movie.
Yeah. So it's on Netflix though, Holiday Engagement, or at least it was.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it's on there. Very
Give
good.
Me
and
more Bonnie Somerville.
Yes, because I like her. I almost put Mom's Day Away on my list because that's another one of hers that I like.
She's great. I mean, I just adore her.
And it's nice when you can get movies that are about married couples, you know, that just for a little variety. They don't always have to be single.
Yeah.
But Anne, what is your next?
My next one is Royal Matchmaker. So Bethany Joy Lenz and Will Kemp. And I love Bethany Joy Lenz, and I like Brittany Bristow. She's also in this movie. I like the way that Will's character, warmed up to Bethany's character, and then she realizes, oh my gosh, like I'm matchmaking this guy, but I'm falling in love with him, and she's like in this kind of, what am I gonna do? And it's filmed in I think Belgium. I forgot where they're supposed to be, but it's filmed in Belgium, so it's pretty. And Will Kemp in Prince garb. I mean, that's of course beautiful.
Swoon.
And nice. Swoon, yes. using his accent. And this was before I really love Will Kemp as much as I do now. So if I watched it now, I'll be just even more happy. So yeah, I just think it's a sweet movie. And I always love Brittany Bristow. She does such a great job. And I'm glad they gave her own movies, but I love her too as a best friend as well.
It's interesting because I think this is Bethany's first role for Hallmark, right?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen her before.
I think it might be her best. I mean, Bottle with Love or this, I don't know. I think I'd probably pick it as my favorite of hers. And I think that, yeah, they have nice chemistry. I wish they had more time together as a couple. That was
see that.
Main, because he's with that other woman, for a lot of things with all the matches. They don't.
Right, she's matchmaking him, so they don't really like do stuff together. But they do have that scene in the restaurant, whatever, where she's like, we need to have a conversation. Like, you need to help me do my job. And they kind of bond for the first time. And you kind of see the relationship grow from there. I love this movie. I remember when it premiered. It was a Winterfest movie, and I loved it immediately.
Oh, was it Winterfest? I forgot.
It was either Winterfest or it was like a winter movie. It was
it might have been one of the first February or something. Yeah, it was real cool. Yeah. It was somewhere in there, yeah.
It was one of the first like post-Christmas movies. And I was like, oh, this is magical. And Bethany Joy Lenz's clothes are great in that movie. She looks so cute in every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I think that's a good pick. All right. My next pick is Anything for Love. And this one we reviewed for On Friendship, me and Elisa. And it was so much better than I remembered it. I really like it. It does a very good job with character motivations because you have Erica Christensen playing this basically like the CEO of her family company. She loves her work. She's proud of it, but she also feels like she gets kind of judged for it, especially in the dating world. And then you have Paul Green playing a male nurse, and he's pretty confident, but he also feels like there's a certain amount of judgment about being a nurse that as a man. And so anyway, they both put up online profiles in kind of it's sort of them putting it up, but also their BFFs that really do it. And you have Allie Liebert playing Erica's assistant / BFF, and she's the one who kind of puts up the online posting, and they end up meeting, and they both have listed their different careers than they actually are. Erica saying that she's an assistant, Paul Green saying that he's a doctor, and they get to know each other, and of course, all kinds of shenanigans ensue. Antonio Cupo plays her ex. He's good. I mean, so it's got a really good cast, and I just really like the whole dynamic of kind of them being insecure about their jobs and who they are and how they interact with each other. I think it's definitely Paul Green's most underrated performance. I feel like you never hear it talked about. And
that's true.
I think it's really good. And I think our episode of On Friendship on it was very good. We had a really great discussion. And so that always endears me to it.
That is a great movie, and you're right. It is a very kind of interesting, in a Hallmark way, commentary on like gender roles and like the anxiety that in a world where you're like online dating, and it's like, how do you present yourself? And we all are so easy and quick to judge. And a pretty deep topic for a Hallmark movie, but they do a really good job with it.
Yeah. And at a certain point, Allie Liebert's character calls Erica out saying, like, what's wrong with being an assistant? Like, why are you ashamed that he would, that he would think this, and so there's just it's a really good dynamic, and like I said, they have really good chemistry, and I don't know. I think it's one that deserves more love. So, have you ever seen
Agree.
this one, Anne?
I have, yeah. And actually, yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but I think you're right. I think it's definitely not talked about, and that Paul Green, it is one of his underrated performances because it is a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think that the writer has done anything else. It's one of those. I feel like you can almost always tell when there's like when you have a new writer, and
Mhm.
they you can just feel sort of either it's funnier than normal, or it's like deeper than normal, or
Has
there's
a
something
different,
about,
yeah,
yeah.
different vibe.
So Dory, what's your next pick?
So my next pick is Love of Course with
Oh, yes.
That was a
Cameron
good one.
Matheson and Kelly Rutherford. And this was a fall harvest movie. And I really love this movie. I watch it multiple times a year. I love that the couple, so basically a single mother drops her daughter off at college. And while she's in the town dropping her daughter off, she meets with family friends who live there. And she has a meet cute with Cameron Matheson where she like runs directly into him while carrying boxes and whatever to go to her daughter's dorm room. And through, a bunch of Hallmark type circumstances, she ends up staying in the college town, even though that's not where she lives. She ends up staying and taking over someone's like event planning position as a favor to her friend who works for the university to, of course, put on a fall harvest festival, obviously.
Duh.
And and Cameron Matheson works at the university, and he does like gardening and landscape architecture, that kind of stuff, I think. And he's helping her build this fall festival. And they, of course, fall in love. What I like about this movie is that it's an older couple, which I appreciate, and similar to it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The couple is a little older, they have kids. And I appreciate that. Like I feel like that's a nice, fun way to change things up a little bit
Yeah.
because the stakes are different too when you when you are, older and you're dating, the stakes are just different. And Kelly Rutherford is great. She's just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I love her.
I love her too. I just really enjoyed this movie. I thought their chemistry was great. Like you're just really rooting for them the whole time. And he has a job opportunity that's in another country, and you're wondering, will he stay or will he go? And it has a really great end scene where they come together finally. And it's just such, I think, a sweet, heartwarming romance.
Mhm. Yeah, this one has so many swoon-worthy moments. It's
Yes. I know
really
I was
good.
talking to you about one recently, didn't I, Rachel?
I think so. Yeah,
I
I
think
feel
I
like
had tweeted you like
yeah.
when he makes her the soup when she's sick.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, swoon! Like okay,
I
Cameron Madsen bringing
know.
me soup in a sweater. Like I could die here. Like
I mean, he is just like the charmer of all
oh
charmers.
my gosh,
And
yeah,
him in movies with like this type of like the older single mom thing, it was the same as The
mhm.
Christmas Ornament, which is possibly my favorite Hallmark movie of all time. Like he's just
Yeah.
because he has this very like sweet, gentle
yeah,
spirit that like
genuine.
exactly. And it is so like beautiful to watch.
Mhm. Yeah, it's true. Because also in the Christmas camp, uh the one with the
Club.
Christmas
Okay.
Club is kind of the same.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too.
Very
He's
good.
good.
All right. And what's your next pick?
My next pick is Christmas in Homestead. So this movie, I just only watched it because Rachel and I interviewed Taylor last February, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that movie. So I watched it last Christmas in July, and I was like, why have I never heard about this movie? This movie is adorable. I was like, oh my gosh. And this is the one where Taylor's a celebrity, falls in love with a regular person. So validating my things here. So I like Taylor. I like Michael. I just think it's just so, I don't know, it's just something just so genuinely sweet, because Michael's kind of like, oh, she's a celebrity, like I bet she's like this way and like all this stuff. He has all these preconceived things, and then he's like, oh my gosh, like she's like a really cool and just like nice person, and she bonds with his daughter about the books to movies that she acts in, and I don't know. I think it's just a really sweet movie, and I just love how I feel like they had a lot of time together, and they really really liked each other, and they kind of like showed that the whole time. I mean, besides when Michael was kind of trying to not like her, then they really warmed up to each other.
Yeah, this is such a classic Hallmark movie. Like it has all of those ingredients that you want in a Hallmark movie.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. I think it was one of her first or second one.
Yeah, it was one. I can't remember if it's which one, but it was one of the first she did.
And Michael Rady really does have a pretty great track record. I mean, almost all of his movies have been good for Hallmark.
Very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a really good movie, and I'm usually not into like the superstar meets the small town girl and they fall in love. That's normally not really my favorite. But man, did I love this movie. Like I didn't even, there's always an exception to your rules, and this is true. Definitely an exception to me because of, I think on the strength of both of their performances and their chemistry. Like she's not who you think she is, and he's not quite as stuck up in everything as you think he is, and so they can kind of meet where they are.
Yeah, I'm understanding, Anne, why you loved Beauty and the Baker so much.
Yes, I know. It's like this thing I have. It's so weird. I just want to be validated. This is possible to fall in love with Chris Evans. So
I love that show too. So
yes,
it's on Netflix now. People should watch it.
I know. I just want them to revive it so bad.
I know.
I'm just, oh my gosh.
Like make it cheaper. They don't have to make it so expensive.
Yeah.
It's so good. We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Next pick is another Christmas movie. It's Christmas List. And this stars Alicia Witt. And I feel like it's one of hers that you never hear talked about. But I really like it. I think it has a really solid character motivation, which I like to see in these films, because she has basically become this kind of workaholic type person. And she always resented that her mother worked so much and wasn't there for her. And when she was a little girl, she made a list of all the fun things that she wanted to do for Christmas and that she didn't get to do. And so she finds this old list and she realizes that, oh my gosh, I've turned into my mother. I did what I promised myself I would never do as a little girl. And so she goes and rents this cabin and starts doing all the things on the list. And Peter Benson plays her boyfriend, and he's a really great sort of ex-boyfriend. I mean, not ex-boyfriend, but the other guy kind of boyfriend. He's reasonable, and he gives it a go. He tries to be supportive, but it's just not the right fit, kind of a thing. Her mother ends up coming to the cabin at one point, and they actually have like some real dynamics for their relationship and working things out and forgiving each other. And that's really good. And Gabriel Hogan, this is their second movie together, and I think it's the best. I think a lot of times it takes a lot of times you have that where you'll have people that the second movie they're working together, the chemistry is like nailed, and you can feel that they know each other. It also has Gabriel Hogan's mother in the film, which is fun, playing his mom, Susan Hogan. And it's just really fun to go along with them as they do all these things on her list. And she starts to grow and learn. And I just think it's really underrated. You never talked about, but I really like it. So, have either of you seen this one?
I have, and I like it. I think that what's hard, I feel like when you have kind of an iconic Hallmark movie, you're always kind of chasing that. And I feel like a lot of her movies become underrated because they're not a very merry mix-up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of them, because it's like you're always kind of trying to chase that one,
like a
iconic,
one-hit wonder type of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And because she's been in other good movies, and this is one of them, but I just feel like A Very Merry Mix-Up is so special and like truly a Hallmark classic that a lot of her movies are sometimes, underrated.
Yeah, I think that A Very Merry Mix-Up is more madcap. It's more like silly than this, in a good way. This is a little bit more, with her relationship with her mother. It's just it goes a few more deep places, which I really appreciate. And it's just fun. They go like tubing at one point. They go on all these different like Christmas activities. They go ice skating. So it's just sort of fun that way. But yeah, so it's one that I think if people haven't seen it, they should give it a shot. It's worth a watch. So, Dory,
Agreed.
What's your next pick?
So my next pick is Love at First Bark. Who has seen this movie? With
Me.
Jana Kramer and Kevin
Yes.
McGarry. Okay. So I really think this was the first Kevin McGarry movie I saw. It has to be this one. And when I tell you I was obsessed with this movie, it hit me at the right moment because I was in a place where I was, I think I might have just adopted my own dog. And in this movie, she adopts a dog, needs a trainer. He's the trainer. They fall in love. And so it just hit me in the feels because she is not only falling in love with this man, she is falling in love with this rescue dog that changes her life. And it was something that I really related to in that moment. I think they have great chemistry. This might be the first Jana Kramer performance that I really liked. I think before I had kind of been indifferent about her. Like she'd been in some Lifetime movies and stuff. And I just was I wasn't a One Tree Hill watcher. So I wasn't, I just wasn't I wasn't a follower of hers. But I loved this movie. I loved that she was like venturing out on her own and starting her own business. And Kevin McGarry was just so dreamy and sweet. And it's so good. And of course there's a dog in it. I'm a sucker for the dogs. And King is the name of this dog. And it's a bigger dog too. There are usually a lot of little dogs in Hallmark. This is like a big, lovable, sweet dog. It's just such a good movie. And I kept this one on my DVR for like years, plural. Like I would watch it constantly. I just think it's so great and so fun. And she builds for one of her clients. Instead of her client is pregnant. She's an interior decorator. Her client is pregnant, and her client's dog is also pregnant. And she, instead of making a nursery for her client, she makes a puppery for the dog mom, where her puppies will be able to live once they are born. And it is the cutest thing in the world. And it's just a fun, sweet movie. I love it so much.
I haven't seen it in a while, but
like I say, it's been a while since I've seen it. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, the dogs are very cute.
So cute. And I think all the puppies are like Cocker Spaniel puppies. I mean, come on, just the freaking cutest. And they always go to rescue events, so you're always seeing the rescue dogs. It's just, it hit me at a time where I really was interested in all things dogs, and I understood what she was going through, and it's a great one.
What's your next pick, Anne?
My next one is Very, Very Valentine. We got the, again, swoon-worthy Cameron Matheson in a tuxedo with a mask. I mean, can you ask for too much more? I'm not sure. And I love, like, when the best friend is, like, secretly in love with their best friend. And I'm like, okay, if Cameron Matheson was secretly in love with me, that would be like the greatest news ever. Like, why is, Danica McKellar not like figured this out? But I think it's so sweet, like how much he just like loves her and like appreciates her and like, and it's just like literally my heart's breaking, like that she's like totally oblivious and like liking this other guy, the wrong guy. And I'm like, Cameron Matheson is right here. But I think it's a good movie and a sweet movie. Once everything gets in the right place and she realizes and sees Henry for how amazing he is.
I like this one too. We did this one for On Friendship as well.
That's right.
Yeah, and I like the whole party scene is so fun. And I love her dress and her mask and the way they have it. And I think that Damon Runyon is a good other guy in it. Like he does a good job. And I love the ending. I think it's great. I know some people don't, but I loved it. It's really swoon-worthy.
I loved it too.
It was a very good Valentine movie. So it's a good pick.
Very sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, my next pick is a spring fever movie. It's True Love Blooms. And this movie stars Sarah Rue and Jordan Bridges. And she runs this community garden that was started by her family. And he wants to build a building on the spot of the community garden. And of course, she doesn't want that to happen. And I think what makes this work better than most of the save the whatever is that she actually experiences loss. Like things don't go the way that she planned. And I guess you could say that sort of the solution in the end is over the top. But like I appreciated the fact that they didn't just have it go completely her way and she had to kind of forgive and learn and grow, and thought that was good. And I liked the various people various gardeners that were involved, and I thought that her and Jordan had really nice chemistry, and I loved Marta, his friend. She was hilarious to me with her interior design, the minimalist interior design, and she
has indeed.
All she has is that like it's like not even a statue. It's just like a little table, and I just thought that was hilarious. And every time that Sarah Rue gives him a flower or plant or whatever, she gets really annoyed that it's ruining her aesthetic. And she's like, "Oh, you got another plant?" And that just I thought was so funny, and I absolutely loved interviewing Amy Lucero, who played Marta. That was a great interview, and I don't know. I just really like this one. I think it's really funny, and you don't see that many that are funny. And yet, I also think that it at least has some stakes, which you usually don't see with these kind of movies.
That's very true.
Give us more Sarah Rue. We want her
Yes,
in more
I like
things.
Sarah Rue a lot.
Yeah,
She's
both
delightful.
of hers have been really good. And so, yeah, that one's one of my favorites.
I also thought the resolution to that movie was just inspired. Like the
Right?
resolution to the conflict about what do we do with this community garden when we want to build this high rise. Like it was the perfect solution.
Yeah. Yeah, and like a lesser movie would have it just be that she gets to keep the garden, and then it's just what are we
It's
doing?
one way or the other. And in this
Mhm.
one, they're like, we'll put the garden on the rooftop. I remember talking on my podcast with my co-hosts, Erica and Mel, and we were all like, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Genius. A rooftop garden. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. And I dream of having the Marta spinoff movie of her moving to New York City. That would be the best thing ever with her minimalist design. She could be like a reality on like HGTV, and I would just
I know. Give Marta some love.
Yes. It was so good. Rarely has a Hallmark movie made me laugh as much as her character made me laugh. I just thought that was so funny. But but what about you? What's your next story?
My next movie is Christmas Getaway. It is a holiday movie. And this is like one of my favorite. This has quickly become one of my favorite Hallmark Christmas movies. And I still believe in my heart that there needs to be a sequel to this movie. I usually am not crazy about sequels. I think they need to give this one a shot. I love this movie. It is about two people who get their like winter cabin that they rent over the holidays is double booked, and it is this guy and his young daughter and a travel writer. And so they end up spending the holidays together, and shocker, they fall in love. I loved this movie so much when it premiered. And I know that people like this movie. I just feel like it needs to be, I think it's time that all Hallmark Christmas movie fans had a conversation about how this movie needs to be elevated to classic status.
Yeah.
It's so good. Because you know how sometimes you'll watch a Hallmark movie or any movie really, and it just didn't age well, you know?
Yeah.
This is not that. I swear this movie gets better and more fun every time I watch it. It is starring Bridget Regan and Travis Van Winkle. They are so stinking cute together. The daughter is adorable.
Her little video that she makes is the best.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the entire scene where she's like leaving and they are going to find her and she gets stuck. I mean, it's just so amazing. Terrell Rothery's in it, right?
Yeah.
She plays his mom.
The kiss in the car is so good.
Oh yeah, that is good.
It's so good. And they're who is the other mom, the single mom who's trying to
Sarah Smythe.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She plays the like perfect single mother who, without probably meaning to, is kind of undermining Bridget Regan's character at every turn and making her feel kind of insecure about their relationship.
Yeah.
And it's just delightful. And he's a widower. And so she really helps him kind of, fall in love again and see that he can be happy again after losing his wife. And his daughter falls in love with her immediately too. It's the best. Like, I'm sorry, we need to elevate this to classic status.
I agree with you. I love this one. There's a couple things. First, one of the best pregnancy hides ever on any Hallmark movie. You cannot tell.
Sure. You can't tell.
they did a great job with that. Also, the whole rice pudding was so fun and cute. I like that.
So freaking fun.
Yeah. And it's actually also got like some humor that you don't typically see, like the whole Croc Maga thing when she's like, I think she thinks he's an intruder. That was funny.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
yeah.
It was so good.
She's like, I'm trained. Is really good. So yeah, that's a very good pick. I'm glad that you picked that one.
The best.
We had this for the watch along with Tracy Andreen was there, the writer, last year. So I watched it not too long ago. It was really fun.
I mean, it's just so cute. And at the beginning, you're kind of iffy on her because she's kind of annoying. She's talking about all the places she's traveled to. And you're just like, oh, this lady. But she grows on you so quick. And you're like, tell me more about your travels. I want to know everything you have to say. Like, she's just so endearing. And that character could have been so annoying. But instead, she was just wonderful. It's a great movie.
Very good pick. What's your next pick, Anne?
My next pick is Under the Autumn Moon. I really like this movie. So Lindy Booth's character, city slicker, comes to the small town to Wes Brown's family farm, and she's wearing the wrong clothes, the wrong shoes, the deal. Everything's wrong. And so he's got to get her the plaid and the boots and all the stuff. And, he's got to get her into some farm work. So, she can, earn her way while she's there. And, she's trying to get him to sell the farm. And, but in the end, they come to an agreement, and I really like the conflict. This one, that there's almost no conflict, which I know that's a problem for Rachel probably, but I like minimalist conflict. So when when Wes's character is, coming up to Lindy, she's like, no, I promise, like, I didn't do it. He was like, no, I believe you. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody actually believes somebody about something. This is like landmark status here. Like, I'm never going to forget this. And I have never forgotten it. I also really am a sucker for a hand-holding scene, and I love when they're laying in the on the blanket, like looking at the stars, and like they hold hands. I just think that is so sweet. I don't know why. I just really love it, and they feel like they don't do hand-holding scenes a lot, so it really stood out to me as well. And I thought they had great chemistry, and they had the hay fight, which was fun, and Wes Brown does really good banter, and I felt like at the beginning they had that kind of banter off each other when, he's still being like kind of smug and smirk and stuff, and I think he does that really well. And a
lot of Tracy Andreen love on this episode. We had Love, of course, Under the Autumn Moon, and Christmas Getaway. So
yeah, she's killing it.
I also like a good hand-holding scene. I'm with you there. And this has a lot of cooking stuff too. Cooking montages. Yeah.
I think they had a food fight too, I think. I remember. I feel like at one point in the kitchen too. So yeah, I think it's just it's a good banter, fun movie. Wes is good at, bringing those comedy moments, and I think he likes that, and he excels at it as well. And I love a fall movie. It's, just beautiful, and you can just feel the crisp air when you look at the screen, because it's just a cozy fall movie. So yeah.
Very good pick. Well, my next pick is A Ring by Spring. And this is a spring, obviously, movie. And this stars Rachel Boston, and she plays this woman who goes to companies and she's a business consultant. She tries to reform and get them running well again. And she goes, and she is the consultant for this company run by Kirby Morrow. But before she goes, she meets this fortune teller who tells her that she will have a ring by spring, or she will never marry. And so she starts to kind of freak out about it and what's going to happen. And she had been dating Jeremy Gilbot, or I think it's Jeremy Gilbot. Yeah. And anyway, and Giles Panton is also, I think it's Jeremy Gilbot, sorry. Anyway, she's been dating, and so she starts to go through her previous relationships to try to figure out why they haven't worked. And so you see Andrew Francis and Giles Panton, and anyway, in here, and she starts to get closer and closer to Kirby Mauer's character, but they're working together, so she doesn't want to mess that up. And she's also thinks, well, I've got to get back together with Jeremy Gilbot because I only have this little bit of time left, and so the Kirby Mauer character, he's falling for her, but now she's with this other guy, and so he's like, well, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to say anything, but he's just miserable. And Allie Liebert, this is just her episode for me talking about her playing best friends, because she's her best friend and is great and pregnant not actually pregnant, but she's playing her friend is pregnant in the movie. And so she's kind of jealous of her friend a little bit, that has like her life, she's kind of got everything figured out. Anyway, I really like it. I like the fact that Kirby Mauer was just kind of a normal guy, approachable, seemed like somebody that you would actually meet in real life. I think they had really great chemistry. I love when they're the whole bowling scene when they're
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And it just when he's just trying to be a good businessman, but he's just dying inside, and you can tell, and he's so sad. It's really good. And it's sad because he's passed away now. That makes me sad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thinking that, yeah.
But I know, I just really like it. I think it's really good. Stephanie Powers is fun as this fortune teller. And yeah, I like it. And I feel like you never hear it talked about.
Yeah.
It's one of Rachel
I
Boston's
love it.
best.
I love Rachel Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Dory, what's your last pick?
My last pick is something I just revisited a couple months ago, and I love it so much. It is All Things Valentine. And
yeah.
I really like this movie because the main couple actually dates. And a lot of times in Hallmark movies, couples are thrown together through like crazy circumstances. Like right before this one, I talked about Christmas Getaway. They are, thrown into this cabin together and they fall in love. And in tons of Hallmark movies, that's what happens, right? Like they're rivals at work who have to do a project together, or they are both trying to save the community center.
Yeah.
Right.
This, like, that happens all the time. But in this, there is a conflict, of course, but there are just two people who have a spark and decide that they're going to go out together. And then they keep going out together. And it is just like real life.
Yeah.
Like they do a dance class and they go to dinner and they go to a cooking class. And she helps him pick out a gift, I think for his mom or something, or his grandma, and at an antique shop. And they just get to know each other in increments.
But
and I really love to see that.
All Things Valentine, isn't this the one where they don't know that they're interacting online?
Yes. So she is a advice columnist, and she hates Valentine's Day. And she had a bad experience with an ex-boyfriend on Valentine's Day where she found him with another woman. So she has Valentine's Day. So around Valentine's Day, she gets someone writing into her who says, my boyfriend basically isn't taking our relationship to the next level. Like he doesn't want anything serious. What do I do? And the coach, who is played by Sarah Rafferty, and that's the name of her advice blog, she, in all of her impending Valentine's Day anger, she's like, break up with him. You don't need him. If he's not committing to you, it's not worth it. And she gives this advice to the person who wrote in. And even at the time, she's like, I mean, that may have been a little harsh, but whatever. So she goes on about her life. She meets this guy, and it turns out that the guy that she meets, who is a veterinarian, was dating the girl who wrote in. And the girl who wrote in did indeed break up with him and ended things. And so that ends up being their conflict because he starts trolling her on her blog. He has like something rude to say about every post she makes, and they are just going at it, the two of them, in the comments. Meanwhile, they're also at the same time dating each other.
Yeah. I love that dynamic of they think they hate each other in one area. It's kind of like a flip of the shop around the corner
Totally.
kind of idea, where in that case they're in love with each other in written word, but don't like each other in real life, and that's kind of the opposite. But I don't know. I love that dynamic of like your true self coming out in one part of your life and then not in another, and kind of having to reconcile that. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's really great. They have really great chemistry. It's Sarah Rafferty, who I love and wish was in more of these movies, and Sam Page. And there's another dog in this movie. His name is Busby. He's adorable. And it's just a really fun, I think, movie. And I love watching them get to know each other and actually date. And like, so you see all those fun, like, dating moments. Like, you see the first time they hold hands, and you see the first time they get to dance together. And it's just such a cool change, because in so many of these movies, it's like the people fall in love while they're doing anything but go on dates, really.
Yeah.
So,
that's very true. That's a good one. That's a good pick. Anne, what's your last pick?
My last pick is the fabulous, wonderful Rocky Mountain Christmas, which we have another celebrity fall in love with, a regular person. I'm telling you, it's just something about this stuff. I just like it. Okay. Anytime I see it in the description, I'm like, I'm going to like this movie.
Yeah.
So we have Lindy Booth, which apparently I also really love Lindy Booth, and Christopher Palaha, who I just adore as a human being and as an actor. And I also have to say, this is his best hairdo style here. It's my favorite Palaha hair length in this movie. He's kind of smug at the beginning. He kind of shows up. He's like, hey, I'm trying to, going to be in a movie, on a whatever he was going to do, on a ranch or on a farm or something, and I need to learn some stuff. And she has just broken up with the guy who's an actor and in the spotlight, and she's kind of like, okay, I do not need to like be falling in love with somebody else who's like does this and who's in the spotlight. But they just start to develop feelings for each other, and it's just, I don't know. It's just very sweet. And Treat Williams is a dad, which he's, always awesome as a dad, other than in Chesapeake Shores anyway. If he's not in Chesapeake Shores as a dad, other times he's great. He gives great advice. I know Rachel loves the moment where he...
it's so good. The moment where he shows him his ticket.
Yes.
And he almost left, but he stayed. He almost took the train, but he stayed because he fell in love. Oh, it's such a good scene.
Yeah. And you also have baby Krista McNally in this movie, which is also another, small highlight. And I think that they have really great chemistry. And I just love to see how Palaha's character like softens towards Sarah, and how he just like really is trying to like hang out with her. And I just think it's a sweet movie. And, Rachel had mentioned like in the parade, like it rains in the parade. And
so
I think that, I don't know, even though it's like nobody wants that, I just think that I like that moment though in the movie. Yeah. I think it's good. So
it's so good. Obviously I love this movie. That was a great pick.
It's a great movie.
I think that, that scene when he's riding on the horse in the rain and so good. And I feel like I was an early Chris McNally fan. I was Team Lucas very early on because when I watched this movie, I was like, "Who is this brother? He is so
he is handsome.
yeah, he's beautiful." And yeah, I love this one. I think I love the ending with with all the trees with the lights. And
and they bring it to that's a really good ending.
It's a great pick.
Love it so much.
Do you like that one, Dory?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think the Christmas Getaway and Rocky Mountain Christmas came out the same weekend.
Yeah, I think they I think they premiered the same weekend, and I mean what a weekend.
And it was late in the season, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was like
almost over.
So good. Yeah. Two great movies.
Yeah. Well, my last pick is The Christmas Cottage, and it's one that I don't think gets much attention, but I really like it. I love Steve Lund. He is so dreamy.
He
and
is.
I think and Merritt Patterson is charming, and particularly any part of this where they're like hunkering down in the little cottage is so cute, and I love it. And I love the fact that she doesn't let her stupid phone distract her from having a kiss with Steve Lund. And I love the fact that he's like a hoity-toity chef, and he goes over these crazy meals that he's gonna make for her.
Yeah.
I remember on the podcast we went over all those meals, and it was, I can't remember, but they were just like, what? Just eat turkey, man. What is wrong with you? And and I like Victor Zink Jr. as her boyfriend, who's like, the man of business kind of a thing, but like there's a little more to him. And I don't know, I just think it's such a cozy, sweet little movie.
Definitely is. I actually watched it recently. It was on
not that long ago.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
And it's very romantic.
Yeah. Steve Lund, he is so dreamy.
I know, he's great.
Especially in
I
want
to see him in more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's nice and tall.
Yes.
All that. Great hair. All the things. All those important things.
Yes. The makings of a Hallmark hunk.
Exactly.
If only, I kind of wish they had them stuck out there in the cottage a little longer. That would be my only.
Yeah.
Because I loved that. Them in their PJs and like, drinking cocoa and hanging out at the cottage. That was the best.
Weren't they only in there for like a night?
Yeah, it was only one night or maybe two.
Yeah.
Not very long. So, but it was still very, very fun. So there we go. That is our underrated picks. Let us know what you would pick. Put in the comments section or on Twitter. We would love to hear your thoughts. And Dory, where can people find you?
You can find me at All the Fields Pod on Twitter, on Facebook, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
And Anne, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at awscott21.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And also, you can find reviews for pretty much all of these movies on our podcast. So make sure you're following us and checking out the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Pod, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. Really appreciate that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which we have done watch-alongs for some of these movies. And so it's a chance to get to know talent and get to watch these movies. So make sure you check that out. And then we also have our merch store, which has tons of fun designs. So check that out. And thanks so much. This was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this. And we'll have to do that overrated one of these days.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.